We live in an age where everything moves at lightning speed. We expect results at the tap of a screen, satisfaction at the click of a button, and success within a few short months of effort. The world tells us that if we're not progressing fast, we're falling behind, but the truth is, greatness cannot be rushed. Every extraordinary achievement, every lasting legacy, and every powerful transformation has been built over time. The people who create real impact understand that growth is not about how quickly you reach the top, but how solid your foundation is when you get there. We confuse speed with progress. We believe that the more we do, the faster we'll get what we want, but speed without direction is chaos. We can be running full speed toward the wrong goal and still convince ourselves we're succeeding. Patience reminds us to pause, to reflect, to be deliberate in our actions. It invites us to build slowly but meaningfully. Progress that lasts is never frantic. It's intentional, rooted in consistency and clarity. Patience is not laziness. It is not idly waiting for something to happen. It is the deliberate practice of trusting that your effort, your discipline, and your integrity will bring results in their own time. It takes strength to stay the course when you don't see the outcome yet. It takes courage to keep moving when everyone else seems to be racing ahead. True patience is active. It's the daily decision to continue building, learning, and refining, even when applause is absent and recognition is delayed. Every powerful creation starts with invisible work. Think of a tree. Before it ever touches the sky, it spends years growing downward, expanding its roots, anchoring itself deep into the earth. To an outside observer, it might look as though nothing is happening. But in reality, everything important is happening beneath the surface. The same is true for us. The quiet seasons of our lives, when progress feels hidden, are often the most vital moments of preparation. We often ask why things aren't happening faster, why success hasn't arrived, why recognition feels distant, why we're not yet where we want to be. But the better question is, am I ready for what I'm asking for? Because life has a way of giving us not what we demand, but what we can sustain. Opportunity without readiness becomes a burden. Success before maturity can collapse under its own weight. When we focus on becoming ready rather than chasing the next thing, we align ourselves with a more natural rhythm of growth. Patience teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. You cannot control the pace of every outcome, but you can control your commitment to the process. You can control how deeply you learn, how consistently you show up, and how much you grow through the waiting. When you accept that timing belongs to life, not your ego, you free yourself from anxiety and comparison. You begin to see that waiting is not a punishment, it's preparation. The most remarkable people are not those who moved the fastest, but those who stayed faithful when progress felt invisible. They worked quietly, built steadily, and trusted that the seeds they planted would one day bloom. They didn't need validation to continue, they were driven by vision. And when their moment came, the world saw their overnight success, unaware of the years of invisible effort that made it possible. Patience also deepens resilience. It trains the mind to endure discomfort without losing focus. When things don't happen according to plan, patience gives you the steadiness to adapt instead of collapse. It allows you to learn from every delay rather than be destroyed by it. This resilience becomes your secret strength, the reason you're still standing when others have given up. Every time you practice patience, you're building character, you're shaping a mindset that can handle uncertainty, failure, and pressure. The work you do during slow seasons molds you into the person capable of holding success when it finally arrives. Without that inner growth, even the best opportunities can slip through your hands. The process that feels slow is often the exact one building the strength you'll need for what's coming next. So, remember that patience is not the absence of movement. It's the presence of purpose. Every step, no matter how small, carries meaning. Every quiet season holds preparation. Every delay carries a lesson. The ones who thrive are not the ones who rush to the finish line, but those who understand that real greatness takes time. The path may be slow, but it is never wasted. Every moment of waiting is shaping you into someone worthy of what you're working toward. We often mistake motion for meaning. We think that because we're busy, because we're constantly doing, we must be making progress. But busyness is not the same as growth. Moving fast doesn't always mean moving forward. Sometimes speed becomes a distraction, a way to avoid the discomfort of stillness, reflection, or uncertainty. Patience invites us to slow down, not to stop, but to become intentional. It asks us to focus on asterisk, why asterisk we're doing something, not just asterisk how quickly asterisk we can finish it. Patience is often misunderstood as inaction, but it's actually one of the most active forces in personal growth. It's what gives our actions depth. It's the space between effort and reward where character is built. When we act with patience, we're not waiting passively, we're moving deliberately. We're taking steps forward with awareness, with an understanding that the process matters just as much as the outcome. It's easy to act out of impulse. It's harder to act out of intention. The world constantly pushes us toward urgency. We feel pressure to achieve milestones by certain ages, to hit goals faster than others, to measure our worth by timelines. But true progress doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to persistence. Patience gives us permission to move at the speed of real development. It allows us to build something that lasts rather than something that just looks impressive for a moment. When we give ourselves time to grow, we allow our work, our relationships, and our purpose to mature naturally. Every meaningful achievement demands a foundation. That foundation takes time to build, and it cannot be skipped. The stronger the foundation, the greater the potential for what stands on top of it. Patience is the builder's discipline, the understanding that the most critical parts of growth often happen behind the scenes before the world sees any result. When you rush through that stage, you rob yourself of depth. You end up creating something that looks strong but crumbles under pressure. Patience is also about focus. When you're patient, you stop scattering your energy in 100 directions and start investing it where it truly matters. You learn to prioritize consistency over intensity, substance over speed. That's how mastery is formed, not through endless hustle, but through steady, thoughtful effort over time. Patience keeps you from chasing every shiny distraction that promises instant gratification and reminds you to build something meaningful that can stand the test of time. There's also a quiet confidence that comes with patience. When you know who you are and where you're headed, you don't need to prove your progress to anyone else. You can be calm in the process because you trust your pace. You understand that your journey doesn't have to match anyone else's. Patience protects you from comparison by grounding you in purpose. It helps you recognize that the right things will align when you're ready, not when you're rushed. Impatience, on the other hand, often comes from fear. Fear of being left behind, fear of not being enough, fear that time is running out. But patience replaces that fear with faith. It reminds you that the value of your work doesn't diminish just because the results aren't visible yet. Every effort you make adds up. Every lesson you learn in the waiting becomes a part of your strength. When you trust that, you stop needing everything to happen immediately. The beauty of patience is that it transforms your mindset from chasing outcomes to mastering processes. Instead of constantly asking, "When will I get there?" you begin to ask, "How well am I showing up right now?" That shift changes everything. It makes your work more meaningful. It turns frustration into focus, and it helps you see progress in the small, consistent steps you take every day. Patience teaches balance. It allows you to dream boldly but act calmly. It gives you room to adjust, to make mistakes, to learn, and to start again. Without patience, every delay feels like a disaster. With it, every delay becomes information that helps you grow stronger and smarter. The patient person doesn't avoid challenges. They simply move through them with perspective. knowing that the process is shaping them for something bigger. In the end, patience is what turns movement into momentum. It's what separates those who burn out from those who break through. It's not about slowing down your ambition. It's about pacing it with purpose. When you practice patience, you stop chasing progress frantically and start creating it intentionally, one thoughtful step at a time. Patience is one of the most misunderstood virtues. Many see it as passive, as though waiting quietly means doing nothing. But patience is not the absence of action. It's the art of focused persistence. It's what happens when you decide to keep showing up, to keep putting in the work, even when the outcome isn't visible yet. It's easy to take action when rewards come quickly. The real test begins when the results don't match your effort, when the applause is missing, and when the world seems indifferent to your progress. Patience is about trust. It's trusting that the time you invest, the consistency you maintain, and the sacrifices you make are not in vain. It's the understanding that growth often happens in silence. The moments you spend practicing, refining, and learning when no one is watching are the moments that prepare you for what's ahead. This kind of trust doesn't come naturally. It has to be built through experience, through countless days of uncertainty, where you choose to believe in yourself even when evidence hasn't yet caught up. There's a quiet strength that lives inside patience. It's the strength to resist the impulse to quit when things move slower than expected. It's the discipline to continue taking small, deliberate steps when you'd rather sprint toward a finish line that still feels far away. This strength doesn't shout, it doesn't need attention. It grows quietly within you, becoming the steady rhythm that carries you forward through doubt and frustration. Working patiently doesn't mean lowering your ambition. It means aligning your energy with your purpose. It means understanding that everything meaningful takes time to take shape. You can't force a flower to bloom before it's ready, and you can't rush personal growth without sacrificing depth. When you act with patience, you're not waiting for life to give you something. You're preparing yourself to meet life halfway, ready to handle what's coming. Patience is also an act of humility. It reminds you that you are not in control of every outcome. You can control your effort, your attitude, and your preparation, but not the timing. This humility frees you from the frustration of trying to control what's beyond your reach. It lets you focus on what truly matters, showing up with integrity, learning from each challenge, and giving your best every single day. The most remarkable part of patience is that it transforms you along the way. You might begin the journey wanting a specific result, but through the waiting, you discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed. You learn resilience, you learn adaptability, you learn to find satisfaction in the process rather than in the promise of success. Patience becomes not just something you practice, it becomes who you are. Patience also deepens awareness. It teaches you to listen, to observe, to pay attention to details you might overlook when moving too fast. When you're patient, you become more present. You notice the subtle improvements in your skills, the small signs of growth in your journey, and the lessons hidden within every obstacle. This awareness makes your progress richer and more grounded. Every person who has achieved something extraordinary has lived through long stretches of unseen effort. Behind every breakthrough is a story of perseverance that no one else witnessed. Patience is what bridges that gap between unseen work and visible success. It's the invisible engine that keeps you moving when motivation fades. It's the quiet voice that says, "Keep going. This will matter someday." Patience also protects your peace. In a world that glorifies urgency, being patient allows you to operate from a place of calm rather than chaos. It shields you from the pressure of comparison and the noise of instant gratification. When you stop rushing, you start seeing clearly. You realize that your timing is unique, that your story doesn't have to match anyone else's, and that what's meant for you will meet you at the right moment. To live with patience is to live with faith in your own process. It's choosing persistence over panic, progress over perfection, and consistency over speed. It's knowing that what you're building will take time, but it's worth every moment of effort. Every day you remain patient. You strengthen your ability to stay the course, to weather the waiting, and to grow into the person capable of achieving what you set out to create. Every great creation begins in silence, in the unseen space where ideas and intentions are quietly taking form. Growth doesn't announce itself in the early stages. It hides beneath the surface, gathering strength. The roots of every tree grow deep before a single leaf appears. That's the part no one celebrates, the part no one sees. Yet, it's the most important stage of all. Without strong roots, the tree would crumble in the first storm. Without a foundation, nothing we build can endure. The unseen effort is what makes the visible success possible. In life, the same principle holds true. The progress we make when no one is watching determines how far we can go when the spotlight turns on. The nights of repetition, the hours of practice, the quiet moments of self-doubt followed by one more attempt, these are not wasted. They are the groundwork for the strength and confidence that will one day carry us through challenges. Growth is not glamorous in its early stages, but it's essential. The invisible preparation is what separates those who sustain success from those who lose it as quickly as they find it. The world rewards results, but real growth rewards patience. It's tempting to want others to notice, to crave validation before we've fully developed our craft. But recognition that comes too soon can be dangerous. It can inflate confidence before it's earned and create a sense of arrival before the work is truly complete. The time spent working in obscurity protects us from that. It gives us space to learn, to fail privately, and to improve without pressure. That's where mastery is born, not in applause but in repetition. When growth happens unseen, it teaches us to value the process itself, not just the destination. We learn to find purpose in effort, to enjoy the act of building even when no one else understands what we're creating. There's freedom in that stage, the freedom to experiment, to make mistakes, and to refine our vision. When we stop performing for approval and start working for progress, we begin to build something real, something that will last. The invisible seasons of growth also strengthen our relationship with ourselves. When external validation disappears, we're left to face our own motivation. We learn whether we're doing the work because we love it or because we want to be seen doing it. That clarity is powerful. It strips away illusion and brings authenticity to our purpose. When we emerge from that period, we're not just more skilled, we're more grounded. We know who we are, and we no longer depend on others to define our worth. The beauty of unseen growth is that it's entirely internal at first. It's like the quiet strengthening of the heart before a marathon, or the sharpening of the mind before a great decision. It builds endurance, discipline, and patience. These qualities don't appear overnight, they're earned through continuous, quiet commitment. The invisible work you put in today will be the reason you stand strong when the visible challenges arrive. It's easy to underestimate this part of the journey because it doesn't come with recognition. There are no trophies for preparation, no applause for persistence. Yet those who honor this phase find that when opportunity finally appears, they're ready for it. Their skills have been tested. Their mindset has been forged through repetition and resilience. The unseen effort becomes the invisible armor that allows them to thrive where others falter. When you look at someone who seems naturally confident or effortlessly skilled, remember that you're only seeing the surface. You're seeing the result of years spent practicing, failing, adjusting, and refining in private. Every confident step you admire was once a shaky one. Every smooth performance was once a clumsy attempt. Growth demands humility in the beginning and gratitude in the end. Those who respect both stages never lose their balance. Invisible growth also deepens appreciation for the journey. When success finally arrives, it's not hollow. It's meaningful. You understand what it took to get there. You carry memories of the early days, the quiet effort, the moments of doubt that you overcame. That gratitude keeps you grounded. It prevents arrogance from creeping in, and reminds you to stay connected to the process that got you there in the first place. Every unseen step adds up. Every small action, no matter how insignificant it seems, contributes to something larger. Growth isn't measured by what's visible, it's measured by the quiet progress you make when no one's watching. The patience to keep building in silence is what turns potential into power and preparation into purpose. The invisible effort you invest today is the strength that will carry you through every visible moment that's yet to come. We spend much of our lives chasing time, measuring progress by how quickly things happen. We want our goals achieved, our dreams realized, our rewards delivered, all as soon as possible. Yet the truth is that not all progress is meant to be seen right away. Sometimes the most significant growth is slow, deliberate, and almost imperceptible. When you understand that slow progress is still progress, you begin to appreciate the quiet power of consistency. You stop measuring success by speed and start recognizing it in persistence. Every step forward, no matter how small, contributes to something greater. Each day, you choose to keep going, to learn, to practice, and to improve. You're moving closer to where you're meant to be. The world might not notice these moments, but they matter. Progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. It doesn't always announce itself with big milestones. Sometimes it's as subtle as a better decision, a stronger mindset, or a calmer response to a familiar challenge. Patience allows you to see the value in the small steps. It teaches you to trust that what you're building is taking shape, even if it's not visible yet. Every repetition, every adjustment, every lesson learned through trial and error is shaping your foundation. The pace may feel slow, but that's how real growth works. It's layered. Every day adds another piece to the structure you're creating, even when the structure isn't yet complete. When you accept that slow progress is still progress, you remove unnecessary pressure from yourself. You stop comparing your journey to others who seem to be moving faster. You stop believing that there's a single timeline for success. You begin to understand that the path you're on is unique, and that rushing it could destroy what's meant to last. There's freedom in this realization. It allows you to focus on doing the work, instead of constantly worrying about how long it's taking. Small progress also builds resilience. Each minor achievement reminds you that movement is possible, even in difficult circumstances. Each tiny win reinforces your capacity to persevere. Over time, these seemingly insignificant victories add up. They build momentum, confidence, and strength. You may not notice the transformation day by day, but one morning you'll look back and realize how far you've come, not because of one big leap, but because of countless steady steps. There's something deeply grounding about moving slowly but steadily. It forces you to pay attention, to stay present with your effort. When progress happens too quickly, we often lose appreciation for it, but when it happens gradually, we notice every detail, every shift, every ounce of improvement. That awareness keeps us humble. It deepens our connection to the process and reminds us that mastery isn't a destination. It's a lifelong commitment to growth. Slow progress also cultivates patience with others and with ourselves. It reminds us that transformation takes time. We learn to be kinder in our expectations, to replace frustration with understanding. When we see growth as a series of small, consistent efforts rather than one massive breakthrough, we start celebrating persistence over perfection. We give ourselves permission to be works in progress rather than finished products. The world may celebrate fast results, but the quiet achievers, the ones who commit to steady progress, build something stronger. They're not distracted by temporary setbacks because they understand that each obstacle is part of the process. They're not discouraged by slow movement because they've learned that the direction matters more than the speed. Over time, their patience becomes their advantage. Slow progress shapes identity. It transforms not just what you do, but who you become in the process of doing it. The long road teaches lessons that shortcuts never could. It teaches gratitude for effort, strength through adversity, and humility through growth. It teaches that real progress isn't about reaching the end faster. It's about becoming better with every step taken toward it. Every season of slow movement has purpose. Every small win, every quiet day of effort, every moment of doubt faced with persistence is building something within you. You might not feel the change daily, but it's happening nonetheless. The accumulation of consistent action creates unstoppable momentum. The patience to keep moving, even when progress feels slow, is what ensures that you'll not only reach your destination, but truly deserve it when you do. Preparation is the invisible work that makes visible success possible. It's the long stretch of time spent refining, rehearsing, and rebuilding before the world ever sees the result. It's not glamorous, and it rarely gets attention, but it's what separates those who rise quickly and fall from those who rise steadily and stay. Opportunity does not reward wishful thinking, it rewards readiness. When preparation meets the right moment, what others call luck is simply the result of persistence finally meeting its purpose. The process of preparation demands patience because it's rarely exciting. It's repetitive, disciplined, and often lonely. It's the athlete running drills before dawn, the artist sketching countless drafts, the speaker practicing in an empty room. In those moments, there's no applause, no recognition, just the quiet rhythm of effort and improvement. It's in that repetition that skill transforms into mastery. Each deliberate act builds confidence, muscle memory, and mental endurance. What looks effortless later is the product of countless unseen hours of deliberate preparation. Preparation is also an act of belief. You wouldn't prepare for something you didn't think would come. Every time you practice, every time you study, every time you plan, you're declaring to yourself that you believe the opportunity will arrive. That belief fuels motivation on the days when nothing seems to be happening. It's easy to prepare when success feels close. It's much harder when the outcome is uncertain. The ones who stay committed in those uncertain stretches are the ones who eventually meet the moment fully equipped. The beauty of preparation is that it not only readies you for success, but shapes who you become in the process. Each step of preparation builds character. It teaches discipline, focus, and resilience. It reminds you that growth doesn't happen in bursts. It happens in layers. Every piece of effort adds to the structure of readiness. Over time, you begin to notice that what once felt difficult becomes natural, and what once required force now flows effortlessly. That transformation is the reward of preparation. Preparation also teaches awareness. When you're patient enough to prepare deeply, you learn to observe details others overlook. You begin to see patterns, anticipate challenges, and respond instead of react. You stop chasing every opportunity blindly and start recognizing which ones align with your values and skills. The more prepared you are, the clearer your judgment becomes. Readiness sharpens intuition. It helps you move with purpose instead of panic. Those who skip preparation often find themselves overwhelmed when opportunity arrives. Success without readiness can feel like a burden instead of a blessing. Pressure becomes too heavy because the foundation isn't strong enough to hold it. That's why patience in preparation is essential. It's not about delaying progress, it's about ensuring sustainability. What comes quickly often fades just as fast. What's built through patience and practice endures. Preparation requires humility. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, to admit what you don't know, and to start improving from where you are. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where growth begins. The more you prepare, the more you realize how much there still is to learn. That awareness doesn't discourage you, it humbles you. It keeps you curious, hungry, and open to improvement. Every expert began as a beginner who had the patience to keep preparing long after excitement faded. In the process of preparation, failure becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. Mistakes made in private are the training ground for success in public. Every setback, every misstep, every wrong attempt reveals something valuable about what doesn't work. Patience allows you to absorb those lessons instead of rushing past them. Through this, preparation becomes not just a practice but a mindset, one that turns obstacles into opportunities for refinement. Preparation also gives you peace. When you've done the work, when you've spent time building your skills and strengthening your resolve, you no longer fear the unknown. You don't need to rely on chance because you've created readiness within yourself. You know that no matter what happens, you can adapt, adjust, and respond effectively. That sense of inner stability is something that only preparation can give. It's confidence earned, not borrowed. Every season of preparation builds invisible strength. It's where you learn endurance, discipline, and self-reliance. It's where you transform potential into capability. By the time opportunity arrives, you don't need to scramble to prove yourself. You simply step into what you've already become. The patience you've practiced in preparation ensures that when the right moment comes, you're not just ready to receive it. You're ready to handle it, sustain it, and grow beyond it.